Okay, so how's it going, folks? I've taken a few different recipes, looked across the internet trying to find my own recipe that I could use for making some salsa today, and I put together my own little additives and ingredients to kind of make it my own. I'd like to share that with you today. First, we have these tomatoes here. I've got the cheapest tomatoes I could find. I don't need any special tomatoes. Found that these are working quite well. They're a lot meatier, a lot more texture, not as much moisture, and they create less water. Also have a couple garlic cloves that I just throw in there. I don't have to chop them up. I don't have to peel them. I don't have to do anything with them. I just throw them just like they are. I have my serrano pepper. Cut the stem off, throw it in there. Don't worry about the seeds and that little bitty pepper. They're not going to kill you. Also have my large green pepper for a little bit extra added flavor. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we clean the seeds out of that. Also have our basic jalapeno, nothing special, medium size. I do take the seeds out of that for the most part, and we'll get to that a little bit later. A little bit thing might be a little bit different that you're not maybe seeing in a lot of salsas is a green pepper and a red pepper. Adds a little bit sweetness, a little flavor, something you'll find just very, very nice. And I've tried a yellow onion, I've tried a red onion, I've tried a white onion. I like the yellow onion, gives a little bit more oomph, a little bit more flavor. It is a little tough on the eyes when you're trying to cut it up, but in the end you'll appreciate it. Some of the other ingredients that we have also are some of the additives. Obviously you need some salt. We don't want to add a lot of salt. It's kind of critical. You don't want to have it taste too salty. About a quarter teaspoon of salt is all you need. You could add also, the other ingredient is the lime. Now it says in recent recipes I've looked at, about a quarter lime, nothing bigger. I just add a couple, 2 or 3 dashes of the lime juice itself. Those are my recent additives that I've been adding to the salsa, kind of give it a little punch, not too much, was the sriracha sauce. Gives a little bit extra added flavor. And that's about maybe a couple tablespoons, equivalent to a couple tablespoons. Along with the garlic cloves, I add a little bit of garlic salt on there, about 3 or 4 dashes of garlic salt, give a little extra punch. Also, to add a little sweetness, I add a couple packets of Splenda, and it kind of adds just a little bit more flavor to all the vegetables combined. So let's go ahead and get started with our additives. The first thing I do is I chop up the onion and the peppers together, mix that up, and then we'll chop in and add in the ingredients, the sauces, the salt, the sugar, and then the tomatoes. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and chop up our ingredients and add them to our Ninja blender. I love this blender. It takes things and doesn't take any prisoners. It just chops things up very nicely. So you'll be able to see that here shortly. So we're just going to, nothing fancy about cutting up your onion here. I got my trash can right there ready to go and receive all my extra droppings. Just cut off the ends. I'm going to peel off some of this outer skin just a little bit here. Get rid of some of this dry stuff. Nothing special. I'm no professional onion chopper. So we're just going to peel this stuff off and dump it right in our waste. I just like to get the dry stuff off. Just enough. You're not getting that dry texture inside the sauce. And we'll just give this little bit part right there. And then we're just going to let it up. You got a nice flat surface. I'm just going to cut that off one time. I'm going to cut this off in some sections. And watch your fingers. And we're just going to dump them right in the old blender here. Like I said, I do my onions and my peppers in first. Dropping those in. The whole onion. This onion's about 3 inches in diameter. So I got a pretty good size onion. I've seen a lot of different recipes where they've put in a half a cup, whatever. Again, it's to your liking. This really seems to bring out the flavor nicely. Here's the bell peppers. We're going to go ahead and just kind of cut out the center. I like to kind of go around in a circular motion to kind of help take out that inner seed pod in there. And we can just grab that out of there and pull it right out. There it is. Cut this in half and then got to cut it in half again. Dump that in there. And you can clean these seeds out. They're not really that potent, so it's kind of no big deal. Put those in there. We got our other red pepper. Again, kind of cut the seed pod out here a little bit. Pull that right out. Hardly no seeds in that guy. Put that right out there. Cut in the sections and dump it right in. Again, with these Ninja blenders, those blades do come up right at the top, so be careful you don't cut yourself. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put that on there. Make sure you got your arrows lined up. Alright, that's enough for now. You can see how that kind of just pulls it right down and mixes it all up together. Okay. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and add some cilantro. I forgot to mention that earlier. We'll add that in there. Kind of cut some of the stems off. It kind of helps from getting caught all up in there. I'm going to put all the cilantro in just like this. I kind of wrap it in like you're loading your washing machine. Kind of wrap it all in there. And we'll load that up and mix it up in just a moment. We're going to move right into our peppers. And we're just going to, like I said before, we're going to cut the stems right off. Nothing special on that guy. Dump him right in there. Got our jalapeno. Dump that out. I'm going to cut that right in half. And then I'm going to just kind of scrape out some of these peppers right out of there. And we'll kind of slice that down below and just peel that guy right out of there. Just like that. Dump that guy right in there. And then we'll do the same thing with this pepper here. These peppers are very nice. They're kind of on the sweet side. We can just kind of trim that back along that vein. And kind of do the same thing on this side. And cut that pepper right out of there. Makes it pretty easy. We'll just cut underneath that vein and cut that guy right out of there. Pretty simple. Cut this up in manageable chunks, throw right in, and we're good to go on this guy. All the peppers are in, and we're going to go ahead and dump in our 2 full garlic cloves in there also. Put the lid back on, we'll mix this stuff up here. Make sure your bottom's closed. Sucking it down. Alright, good enough for now. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and, before we add our tomatoes in there, what I'd like to do is go ahead and add our other ingredients. So we're going to get a couple of good shakes of garlic salt in there like that. We're going to dump our 2 Splendas in there. And you can use any kind of sweetener you want. You can even use sugar if you like. I just use the Splenda because it's easy. No fuss. Here's our sriracha. Like I said, it's about a couple tablespoons of sriracha. Mix all that in there. And we're good to go. Here's our lime juice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're good to go. And again, this is all to your own liking. This is what I found has worked good for me. It makes a great flavor. I do not just guess on the salt. Like I said, I don't want it too salty. I think that's kind of turns things off a little bit. So we're going to put just a 1/4 teaspoon of the salt right in there. And that's pretty much all I need. Alright. Now you've got all your liquid ingredients in there, all your additives, and now you put your tomatoes right on top. That way you're not having to add all that stuff, and it's getting a very good mixture within a before you add a lot of the juices with the tomatoes. Tomatoes, you can do them any way you want. I like to cut out this little center. It kind of gives me more of the tomato itself. And as you can see, these tomatoes, as I was saying before, are very, very meaty. Okay? There's not a lot of juice coming out of these tomatoes, which is nice. And you'll see what I mean by that a little bit later. So we'll go ahead and add these into our blender one by one. As you can see, we'll go ahead and just round that up. You angle your knife just a little bit like this, and it creates like a little cone shape and cuts that little centerpiece right out of there. And you're not wasting a lot of tomato. Add them in there. Alright. And these tomatoes, hothouse tomatoes, are very, very firm. So they're, like I said, they're really a nice additive to salsa. Chop them all up, all together. They're all jumping in the hot tub together, as our good friend would say. You know what I mean? All right. Let me get these guys going in here. And this is going to make a full blender of salsa. So you have a good amount here. And it lasts for a long time because you get the lime juice added there for a little bit of acid and flavor.
And what we'll do on this is we'll edit it down so it's not like chopping every single tomato.
All right, we're just getting close to our last tomato here. Boy, I can't wait to eat this up. Get the chips. Man, this thing is packed in here now. Yes, sirree. Look at that. All right, now for the final mixture. It may take a few moments. And we're you can see that this is really taking all of that stuff all together and mixing it all up nicely in there. So we'll just let that go just a couple more seconds, probably about a minute or two. Oh yeah, that's looking really nice. Okay, now that we've got our mix of salsa ingredients all together, I'm going to go ahead and show you the next step. Alright, which is going to be something probably you've never even heard of before, or maybe you have, not sure. So this is the Ninja blades inside here, so again, be careful when you're taking these guys out of there. Shake them free a little bit. We'll just set that down here in the sink. Now what I'm going to do is, like I said, you probably haven't seen this before, and every time you've made salsa in the past, like I have, it always comes out like super watery, which I don't like. It doesn't stay on the chips too well. So what I've done is I've taken a strainer, just your basic cheap strainer, and I'm going to pour this stuff in here. You can see how it's pretty thick already, but it does have a lot of moisture in it. We're going to go ahead and pour that in there. You can pretty much get the whole thing in there. And I'm in the sink, so it drains right in the sink. You can see it's already starting to drain the water right out of it already, and I haven't even touched it yet. And that's just, looks like basic clean, clear water. So we're going to go ahead and set that down in there. And what I've done to kind of speed up the process, I've taken your basic flexible spoon here, and I'm going to take and separate this away from the edges a little at a time. And what that does, it allows more moisture to go through the screen. You can see that underneath now, it's starting to change color and the moisture continues to come out. I'll just rotate this around and keep doing that until I find the moisture is sort of slowed down a little bit. I don't want to get it too dry. Again, this is kind of to your liking. But if you continue to do this, you can see that the moisture will continue to come out of the salsa. We've got a great color here with all the ingredients. Like I said, I can't wait to give this a try. You can see it as you continue to do this on the side of the screen, it'll continue to get thicker and thicker and thicker. Again, let's look underneath again. We're still dripping water out of there. Still dripping, and I'm not even touching it. Okay? So it gets a lot of the water out of there from the salsa for making a nice thick salsa. And you can use this on not only chips, but you can use this on your sandwiches, on your eggs, just about anything. And it works really well. Right, thanks for coming back. We finished straining our salsa mix and drained it into a Tupperware thing. Pretty simple. I want you to check out the consistency of this salsa. It is absolutely fabulous. Look at this. Now that stays on a chip. Look at that. All right, here it goes. Man, that is the absolute best. I love it. I could eat this whole bowl right now. What flavor. Absolutely fabulous. I guarantee it. Thank you for coming.